Hey, City Life Church. The elders have been discussing, praying, and asking for your feedback on our plan to gather again in person. We deeply miss worshiping together, praying with you, and even sharing meals in person. We, like you, we feel the limitations of these virtual connections that we have every week. However, we do want to be prudent when deciding on a timeline and a plan for when we can gather again in person. So with respect to the immediate future, we do not plan to gather together in the ballet for services for the rest of the month of May. Even though things are opening back up in our city, the elders do want to be conservative on our timeline for several reasons. The first is public health. According to city health officials, the number of COVID-related hospitalizations continue to rise each day. The city has recommended that we avoid public gatherings until that number steadily declines. Second, for logistical concerns, if we were to meet soon, we would have to take a bunch of measures of distancing, how we set up our seating, the flow of people. We wouldn't be able to have kids' life, and then just technical needs of having multiple services. So it would be hard for us to see that kind of partial gathering as a win. And lastly, if we did meet together, it would only be half of our congregation, and then the other half would still be online. And so that wouldn't really be the joyful reunion and coming together that we're all looking forward to when we can get back to normal. We sent out a survey last week and have already received a lot of feedback from you that confirms this conviction that we should have kind of a more slow timeline whenever we look at whenever we're going to reopen and meet back together in person. So I want to mention two things in light of this. First, if you're experiencing fear as things in our city start to open up, I want to remind you that being afraid is not a sin in and of itself. When Christ appeared to the disciples after his resurrection, he didn't rebuke them for being afraid. He actually invited them to draw near to himself. And so we see that the comfort of Christ for us comes whenever we realize that we have the presence of someone near to us who is much greater than what is causing our fear. Second, I wanted to mention that you may be feeling disconnected or lonely or lacking community. And this is true. We're very disconnected from our regular community these days. But I wanted to encourage you not to passively wait for all of this to blow over or even to wait for others to reach out. No, the elders want to encourage you to actively love others. I know that some of you are all zoomed out right now, but we encourage you to look for ways to instigate connection and community yourself. I was really encouraged to hear last week about city groups that are having lunch, virtual lunch together after Sunday services, and another city group that was having virtual game nights so that they can connect in addition to the regular meeting. These are good things that we encourage you guys to do these. We're asking for you to take this time to connect as a city group or a fight club. Maybe this is the time that you need to look and to join a city group or a fight club. Our city groups and our fight clubs, they're still meeting regularly throughout the week. They're still encouraging others, finding unique and creative ways to be a community, and we encourage you to explore those. We have some links on this video. If you've never joined a city group or a fight club before, we have a couple of links that will help you get plugged into those two groups. Lastly, we are looking for ways to spark spiritual vibrancy in our community. So keep an eye out for some new options that we'll be launching soon to help us all draw near to Christ as his body of believers. Your elders and your leaders are constantly praying for you, and we're here to listen, to pray, and to encourage you however we can during this trial. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks, guys.